Hey, this is Defe, so I make things for you to put in your tabletop role-playing games, and today I'm making a suggestion, and that's to center a adventure around lycanthropes, specifically, were-rats. Unfortunately, we're not talking about this kind of lycanthrope over here as much as this picture rocks. We're talking about little were-rats, these guys, these silly little guys, and so, we're not really looking at the stat block on the next page. We're looking at just this little block here, as well as this whole description on lycanthropes as a whole, but specifically the specifics about the were-rat. And so the were-rat is obviously a lycanthrope, and so lycanthropes as a whole, that you get bit by one, you make a saving throw, or you are cursed with lycanthropy, and then you're also a lycanthrope. But then, like, within these different types of lycanthropes, there's different sort of like cultures. Like were-rats are like a closed group of lycanthropes. They only will infect someone or curse someone with lycanthropy if they want them in their group. There's whole different cultures between all these different lycanthropes, and so specifically were-rats, they're like sort of like the rogues of the lycanthropes, and they live in urban settings, like in cities, found throughout urban civilization, often dwelling in cellars and catacombs. They're like in the dark, dank parts of a city, and are almost like a thieves guild in a way. They use their lycanthropy and like ability to turn into rats for sneaking around and thievery and stuff like that. They're very much like a thieves guild. A were-rat clan operates much like a thieves guild. It just flat out says. And so what you can and what I recommend you do with were-rats is, when you think of lycanthropes, you think of a werewolf. And even when I was thinking of this, I didn't even know there were were-tigers. Like, it's very much just werewolf centric, which werewolves are challenge rating 3. They're not particularly strong. I believe they do get pack tactics, which is certainly a bonus for them, but they don't. Oh, I thought they got pack tactics at least. I mean, they would if they're in wolf form, but that kind of stinks. But the thing with werewolves is they're not particularly strong, and because they're not very strong, you throw one or a pack at like a higher level party, they could take it out pretty quickly. And you throw it at a lower level party, and it's like, then again, it's just they're not strong enough to be like, for their numbers to be a counterweight to an imbalanced action economy. Werewolves are just sort of they're kind of tricky, whereas were-rats are weaker, and in that it's actually a good thing for this sort of setting, this sort of idea, because like armor class 12, hit points 33, it does not take a lot for level 2 to level 4 player characters to take out like 1d4 were-rats. It would be rough, but it wouldn't be deadly. And that's really like the whole thing and the whole idea behind were-rats, because, well, like for this sort of lower level play, a werewolf, like, or a pack of werewolves, a whole clan of werewolves, it would be too much. A were-rat is perfect. It's slightly weaker. It's a bit less of a tank, more of like a it's more of like a like a rogue. They're not like the toughest out there, but they could do some damage, and they're more about like sneaking around and everything like that. And so it with these were rats, it gives you like a whole like group of enemies you could use against your players. It gives you like a clan of enemies for you to throw at your players, but also like gives you something diverse that you could use against your players, because like it's a where a rat could turn into a person. They could realistically use any sort of weapon. So like it says in their stat block, you know, they could have a short sword, they could have a hand crossbow, but there's really nothing stopping you from giving them a long sword, a trident, a sling, a net. Like they could turn into humans. They have a hybrid form. They could use like realistically any weapon, and so that gives you a lot of diversity, as well as like armor. You could put them in human form, give them multiple kinds of armor and everything, just diversifying the enemies a little bit, giving them a couple of like different numbers, and then also like with them being a closed sect of lycanthropes, it gives the players like a low level secret society for them to be going against, a like a closed sect of were-rats that are sort of like infesting the lower levels of a city that they have to deal with, because these were-rats are stealing a bunch, they're plundering a bunch, and they're almost like, you can make them be like a darker side of like a thieves guild in a city, and they're almost like the slick executors that just like can sneak in as a rat, kill somebody, sneak out, you know. And again, with them being rats, you know, they're commanding the sewers. They live in the sewers. They live in nooks and crannies, and they just like, you could use like the swarm of rats, like that monster, and have that like act against the party. Not necessarily in combat, but like engage with the environment, like throw stuff at the party or anything. And then when the party like confronts that swarm of rats, it could just like, they could like spring out of the swarm as in their human or hybrid form, as like, because they're were rats, and then like they fight the party and everything. But also it's that they use their rat form specifically for stealthing around and escaping from combat. Like that gives you just a lot more to work with than like stereotypical just goblins or anything, where it's like, instead of it just being an unlimited amount of were-rats that the players are killing until they confront the boss of the threat and take them out, you could have a set number of were-rats in the city. Say there's only like 25 were-rats in the city, and then the players have to deal with that 25 and only that 25. But that 25 is hardly getting killed in combat. They're spending most combats, like every single combat, if a were-rat gets low, they don't fight to the death, they escape. And so the players can like chase that rat down. They can like really just work on doing high numbers or planning sneak attacks on these rats to like sort of like trap them and everything, to really like get them, like make it really like you know, hunting rats, like having a rat infestation, and just like getting these seedy little guys that run away as soon as possible. And so like with this, it really emulates having an infestation that needs to be cleared out by them just being a set number that run away instead of fighting to the death. And it opens like the door for the players really celebrating when they kill an enemy, instead of just being like, okay, killed one, next, you know. And so with this, like with the were-rat, it just allows for you to have a whole ongoing like story in a city of like, here's a secret society of were-rats that are like acting as part of a thieves guild or something, or maybe they're on their own, that are just like the executioners for this thieves guild, and again are carrying lycanthropy. So like, if like they hold that threat of spreading the curse, they in their like description, it like they don't spread it, like they try to not spread their lycanthropy, because they don't want to, like, they just want them to have it. you know, like their secret society instead of just spreading it everywhere and like the trail leading back to them. But like, you know, maybe like they start going rogue, or maybe it's like part of an overall plan, and so they start spreading lycanthropy. There's so you could have like the route of needing to exterminate these rats, and these rats repopulating by spreading lycanthropy, and just it opens the doors for lycanthropy, which you could then like grow into something else. Like there's were-rats, but maybe like there's were-boars too, or werewolves. You know, like dealing like maybe there's like a whole ecosystem of lycanthropes in this lower city setting, and it's just like they're so like ingrained in like the underbelly of this lower city. Like were-rats are like a like were-boars are like the dwarf smiths, but then like the were-rats are like the thieves guild, and like, you know, things like that. It's just looking at bits that are like typical of a urban setting, like a thieves guild, and just saying, how can this be lycanthropes? How can this become? How can I pick an existing group, an existing stereotypical group of a city, and make them were-rats? How can I pick a existing stereotypical group and make them were-boars? It's just looking at this list of lycanthropes, picking one and saying, here's how I'm going to use it. And today that was were-rats. Sort of leading into next week's Let's Build a World video, where we're gonna make an early game city, and as stated in the last NPC video, there will be werewolves there, you know, so it's sort of just setting up for that very werewolf infested city. So yeah, see ya.